Hello, I'm Jerry Littner, and this is State of the Town, a monthly show when we sit with our first selectman, Lisa Heavner, and get brought up to date on the state of the town. And what is the state, boss?
We are in great shape, Jerry.
Well, we should be. The way you cram that budget through. I mean, what'd you do? Have people out there, guards, saying, are you voting yes or no? No, you can't come in?
No, we didn't even need to do that. It was a good budget, Jerry, and the people of Simsbury supported. Of those who voted, 82% supported the budget, so we're very pleased with
I
that.
wondered. I didn't see the percentage.
Very low. 6.26% of people voted.
Oh, I thought it was even... No, somebody asked me, and I did a calculation based on the number that it showed it voted. So it was around that. But I didn't see a figure on what percentage voted yay.
82% for the town budget.
That's a strong statement. And the others typically, people, if they are in agreement, they don't make a comment.
That's
it's
right.
when they say, then they'll make their statement, which is frustrating, I think, because you want to get the input all along,
Of course.
And whether it's positive or negative.
Well, there were plenty of opportunities for the public to comment. We had, a lot of public audience, a lot of, I hold a bunch of open houses. People can call any of us or
You do
email.
real estate?
No, not those kind of open houses, just where people could come in and visit the First Selectman's office.
Oh, and do you still do that like on Monday evening?
We do, yeah. I try and schedule them every Monday or so that we don't have a meeting, at least once a month, and I'll be scheduling next one in June.
Do people show up? Well, some I know.
Some do
the
and some
regular,
don't.
But
No.
other than the regular.
No, some people do and some don't. I'm going to be hosting an open house with John Hampton at the Senior Center on June 6th, so we'll be doing that.
Well, that just happens to bring up one of my subjects that I feel I fell far behind on as far as keeping up to date.
Okay.
Senior Center.
Oh, I'd be happy to talk about that.
Good. This is what I understood. The two charrettes I was very involved in, goes back to my time with Main Street. And so I was hoping it was going to be either, an expansion or a senior, maybe combined community center in the parking lot there.
Yes.
I was not in favor of Stratton Brook. I mean, it doesn't matter what I'm in favor of, but my thought was, with luck, it's going to be one of those two. And then it looked like it was going to be one of those two. And then all of a sudden, boom, it's the Performing Arts Center. How did that happen?
People have been asking me about a lot, and I'd like the opportunity to tell you.
Well, I'd like to know. We'd all like to know, wouldn't we? And when do we march in the street? Torches flaring and...
Well, hopefully you'll be marching and celebrating. But here's how the decision-making went. You're right. When it came to site selections, the initial recommendation by the subcommittee who looked at it was for Stratton Brook. The Board of Selectmen said they were not in favor of that site because we had just purchased the Ethel Walker Woods, which were contiguous to it. And there were concerns about the...
Congratulations on the
aquifer.
Grant for that, by the way.
Thank you. We're very
I was
pleased
totally
with that.
opposed to the whole deal, part of the whole deal, but still, when it's done, and it's good to get the grant.
It is good to get the grant.
Yeah.
I think it's a great acquisition for the town. But so we did rule out Stratton Brook early on, and that left a strong impression by the Board of Selectmen that we wanted to build a senior center downtown. Everyone agreed on that.
Okay.
We weren't sure where, as you know, so we were looking at as one of the possibilities. Another option, and this was recommended by the building committee, was the state lot site behind the Bank of America.
Right.
And that is something actually I was very interested in.
Yeah.
At the time, there was concerns raised because it was initially proposed that the state lot site would be used as an opportunity for a business. So in other words, the town would purchase the state lot site from the state for an hour and then flip it to a business who would develop it consistent with the charrette. So it was purchased through
Which charrette?
the town-wide charrette for downtown, for the center zone.
I didn't think it said a business location for there.
Well, that's what, if you look at the charrette, it does recommend businesses around that area with a parking lot.
Area.
Yeah, with a parking lot. But it was for private use, not for public. That was the initial intent. And there is an opportunity there to add something to the grant list by doing that. It became clear during the meeting that there was not a general consensus to do that site because there was concern that it would take something away from a potential grant list growth.
And by whom? Who expressed those?
Well, I'll let
Give me names.
No, I'll let you talk to other members of that was my sense of it.
It was on the board.
Yeah,
saying.
on the Board of Selectmen. That was my
Ah.
sense. I'm not going to speak for the other members.
Okay, but that's it. So it's like, the hell with what we as citizens put in and all that stuff. It
No.
was just go with what the opinions were of, how many people is it?
For what?
The selectmen.
There are 6 of us.
So-
No, I don't think that's a fair statement, Jerry. There were 40
Well, okay.
hearings held.
I try to make very fair statements, so I retract it.
Thank you. No, there were over
So why
40
was it 6 people who decided?
because that's our job. We do it after listening
so a lot
to
of people had
a lot of
talked to
input.
them.
Right.
Okay.
What we do is a lot of boards had looked at this. There were over 40 hearings on the senior center, so it wasn't like this was done in an empty shell. We had held a
So
public
there were
hearing.
individual citizens who came up of a number of size who said, we'd like to see that for a commercial site.
Yeah, there were some. There were certainly some. Some people said they wanted to see it for a senior center, but the votes weren't there. The votes were for the Performing Arts Center site. And here's the calculus that went through at least how I thought about it. Once it became clear to me that I didn't think the state lot site was going to pass, that left 2 sites. It left Eno or any other site in the town center where we own land. And there were 2. There was the sewer piece of property, off
Yep.
Drake Hill, and there was the site off the Performing Arts Center site. And that was when the architect initially ranked sites in terms of how well they would accommodate a senior center, this was actually ranked fairly high. So it was a possibility. So when we looked at Eno, at least in my calculation, when you look at Eno, there will never be enough parking. Even if you add the parking deck, there will never be enough parking for the estimates that the seniors were getting in terms of their needs over time, because we know the senior population is going to grow. And even if we did a parking deck, there would still not be enough parking. So that
the
was
other thing. I attended luncheon over there, did a quick little presentation, asking about the need for maybe a show on local TV, and I wanted some input. But where they have the lunch, which other than the auditorium is the biggest room, and it was packed.
right.
I mean, they could not have accommodated more in there. So I did go to Kathy and ask. I said, is this a typical group? And she said, well, we are limited.
Right, and they
So-
do turn people away. So there were some site constraints within Eno. And the other thing that weighed heavily, I think, on me and other members of the board was that if you fixed Eno up to accommodate the needs of our seniors, to really accommodate it, make it ADA compliant, make it compatible with, so that if people fall, they're not going to get hurt. You would have to fundamentally change the historic nature of Eno to do that. And so there was a reluctance to change a town gem to do this. We could certainly do it, but it would change the nature of Eno. So those were some of, I think, the big hesitancies of going forward with Eno. So then we thought, well, where else could we put a senior center? And we looked at the Performing Arts site, and we know that they use it 9 to 16 times a year. So that is a piece of town property that is underutilized. When do they use it? Mostly in the afternoons and the evenings. When do seniors use the senior center? Well, mostly in the morning to early afternoon. So we saw a potential synergy of programming, a compatibility there. We know that our seniors don't use the senior center as often in the summer, which is when the PAC is more heavily used. And we saw as an opportunity at that site to create a synergy between young and old, multi-generational. We've got the young park, the playing fields. We've got the Performing Arts Center, synergy with music, compatibility with music. It looks out on some of our most beautiful property, the Simsbury Meadows, where there is a tremendous bird population, a really gem. So we saw that as, could we make this a beautiful, light-filled site where our seniors interact with multi-generations, where they interact with nature, where they interact with music. Could we enhance the site down at the Performing Arts Center to make it a destination so when people walk by it, they are just amazed by how beautiful it is?
What about the parking? Because right now, the playground, when the kids and their families are there, there's very little parking space left over
Well, there's actually parking on the backside, so there are some
on the
availability.
grass. There are some naturists who
Well,
do not like this idea.
Well, that's why. Well, you raise a great point, and we know that going into it, which is why on the architect selection committee, we asked for a member of the conservation committee to help us pick the architect, because we felt it was very important to pick an architect who could accommodate our concerns with the environment. So whatever we build there, we want to make it compliant with the environment.
So there's no plan at this point, architectural plan.
No, we're going out to rebuild, to look, and the charge to them is to really look, whatever you build, make sure that it's compatible with the environmental nature that's surrounding it.
There used to be a barn down there.
Yeah.
It could look like a barn.
It could. There's a lot of potential for it to be a really beautiful, multi-generational, multi-use site that's compatible with nature. I mean, my wish, my vision is to make this a standard for the state. How do you build a sustainable building that is environmentally sensitive, that meets the needs of a growing, aging population, that is compatible with multi-generational use and a performing arts center? It just has the potential to be a synergy of beauty and spectacular.
So this is a developing story.
It is.
It's a living thing. How do we keep up to date?
Well, we give, actually, every Board of Selectmen meeting, we give an update of the progress we're making. One of the things we've started first, because we know this is a potentially environmentally sensitive area, is we started before we even do anything. We wanted to do some wetlands flagging, evaluation of the fauna, and the animal life that lives there, so that we don't do anything that adversely impacts them. That is a top priority for us, and that was the top task that we started.
There's a blue heron rookery
There is.
down there, and this could be like a huge nest, like a Disneyland thing, almost like a huge nest. And the doors are kind of concealed, so you go in like sort of under the nest. And then the windows are like where the twigs don't quite all fit together. I mean, there's glass in them, so it's, yeah, great, huh?
Maybe. But the idea is that we do want it to connect with nature. It is an opportunity for people, seniors, to connect with nature and with the community to connect with nature, but in a sensitive way. So we did do that. The second thing we're doing, and I want to make you and the public aware, is we're starting a survey.
Okay, here we go.
So the Board of Finance had some hesitations about building a senior center and the cost of the senior center. So they asked the Board of Selectmen, which my board did vote to do a townwide survey. We did a survey in 2008 where you look at all sorts of topics for the town: quality of life, education, what kind of development you want, how is the town government doing, what kind of recreational activities. So there are all sorts of how do you want to spend your tax dollars? How do you prioritize spending? Where would you cut if you wanted to cut? But we took that as an
Should we
opportunity.
liberalize our harassment laws, things like that, right?
Not so much, but
I think it should be on the list.
but we will in the senior survey. The question is how much of your taxes are you willing to put towards a senior center? How much
Right.
are you willing to pay more in your taxes to accommodate a senior center? How often would you use it? If you did use it, what programming would you like to see there?
So then
And
for younger people, there'd be a thing like, are you willing to give up your Social Security in order to support a senior?
No, because you know what? It's a senior community center, so it will be for multi-generations.
Oh, we're only going to let seniors.
No, we're going to let the days of islands where the schools aren't just for the schools. We open them up to seniors. We welcome them in.
We do.
We do.
Other than in storms?
Absolutely. We offer senior citizen nights where we bring the seniors in. We do pizza with the kids. They go to either see the
Nobody
music.
invites me to any of
I will
those.
invite you to the next one. It's May 27th. Yeah.
Who's pizza? Are there lots of choices on the pizza, different
Yeah,
toppings?
there are. There
okay.
are.
Okay.
And salad and drinks, and the principal comes, and sometimes the superintendent of schools comes, and it's a lovely evening. We do a lot of welcoming people in. And the senior center, we know that most seniors use the senior center the morning hours to the early afternoon, and that it's not often used at night, so that gives an opportunity for the community to use it, and over the weekend. So there's a lot of potential there.
Well, the one in Guilford, I'm very impressed with, and it, again, because kids are usually in school, but then after school, they have things like, Taekwondo, for adults, but then they have martial arts for the kids
Right.
and gymnastics for the kids, which is a cool thing. And that causes a nice mix. At least they acknowledge one
Absolutely.
another walking down the hall.
And what we found is that when you look at the research, the most important thing is that our seniors not feel isolated and be part of a community.
Boy,
And so,
feel part of a community, that luncheon.
isn't that lovely?
What a rowdy party group they are, boy, from the minute they come in.
You know,
it was great.
It's a lovely event. It's a very affordable event. It brings people together for socializing and having a good time. And I've been there many times. I love it. My favorite is meatloaf. I can tell you the chief of police, his favorite is meatloaf. So that's always an exciting time when they offer meatloaf.
Okay, well, I'll give that a try. There was one other I wanted to back up on some. Oh, I made a comment that somebody, and I appreciate this, at some function, said, so maybe for future reference,
Okay.
when we were talking about the special fund for, I assume, the golf course.
Oh, yeah.
But it's not just the golf course. It's a lot of other things.
Absolutely.
So I think I left the impression that the golf club itself was not profitable. I think in retrospect, when you isolate that, that's not so. So maybe we can drag Jerry Toner in here someday.
I'd be happy to have
He
him.
won't want to come. He's been on the show before. He won't want to come.
He's done a great job. He actually,
Yes, he's great. I don't understand why he doesn't want to be on the show. Huh?
Well, I'll talk to him. But he put forward a wonderful proposal last night that was approved unanimously about how to sell sponsorships of the ice rink to help generate revenue. Because one of the charges he received from the Board of Finance and Board of Selectmen and his own commission was to look for ways to increase revenue. So he put together a package, and you can look for that. And it's a very creative, thoughtful approach. And,
We could bring in adult-oriented performances
No.
on the hockey rink, because in the summer, that's kind of wasted space, isn't it? And then, you could have an age restriction.
No, I don't think that that's compatible with our family-friendly approach at the Simsbury Farms. But
You're a little on the prudish side,
a little
actually.
bit, yeah.
Okay.
I'm not going to deny that. But sometimes we do offer pickleball up there in the summer.
Pickups?
Pickle.
I'm not even going to ask.
It's like a tennis.
I'm not asking about pickleball.
They put tennis courts on the rink, and seniors play pickleball. It's very
What's pickleball?
It's sort of like squash without the squash court. The ball.
With a pickle?
Let's call it. I don't know what the ball is called, but pickleball is a heavier ball, so not heavier than a tennis ball, so more like squash, and you play it on the ice rink. So that's one of the things they do there. We have the community band gives performances down there. There are events that are held down there. So we do the senior citizen. The police does their picnic for seniors down there.
Yeah.
And
What a
that's always
wild and
fun.
crazy town, huh?
Well, the thing that's what makes this town great is how many
I
activities,
agree. God,
right?
we've been here, 40 years?
Right. So much going on, right?
Yeah. Yes. Okay, so your turn, and thank you for responding to my inquiries. I noticed when you were ignoring me that you were underlining some things you wanted to talk about,
Well, the first thing I wanted to do is
because
just
we also have a guest.
we do. How much time do we have? Jim?
Well, you moved the clock, because it used to be where
7
I could
minutes.
see it, and you moved it to where you want
Well,
to
we
see
have
it.
about 7 minutes, but I just want to start by first, just want to mention we did have some people who had served on the Board of Selectmen with me who passed recently, and I just, want to recognize, give my condolences to the family of Jackson Eno and T.J. Hurley. So
Yeah.
that's a sad time for Simsbury. But we also had the ability to celebrate our hometown heroes on Monday night, which is always a very exciting time. And we awarded them to Wanda Coleman, Jackson Eno, Mary Glassman, who my
Cool.
good friend, Paul Lanza, Larry Lanonis, and the Silver Bike Committee, and Robert Lyle. So that's always a wonderful time where you get to celebrate excellence in
Congratulations.
Simsbury. Right? How about that?
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. I think that would be so hard to choose. I mean, it's just
It
through
is.
the years, there are so many people. One that I really meant something to me was Mabel Howard. She has volunteered, that was a year or 2 years ago, something like that, for so many years and so many things, and just quietly and low profile. And I thought, wow, all of those years of just silent
Right.
soldiering were acknowledged. I thought it was great. Okay, is that it? Now we bring your guest in?
Yes, I will just say, we did open it up to the press to get feedback on the Betty Hudson property.
Oh, yeah.
And so that has come in. We're going to be holding a joint meeting with the Open Space, Parks and Rec and Conservation to discuss that and other open space issues. So more to come on that. But really wonderful suggestions. If you haven't seen it, you can go online under Open Space and look at the one Old Bridge presentation that we did. This was done by Rachel Blatt, and it really brings together.
The town area, then what? Commissions and then open space, or how do you find open space on the town side?
Oh, Open Space is a subcommittee.
Okay.
And it's made up of me, the first selectman, a member of
So it's a
Conservation
menu
Planning
pick
Zoning.
right on the main page.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
right. Yeah, you can go on and under departments, you'd find open space, or under boards and commissions, you'd find open space. So you can find that.
So then your guest is Reverend
Yes.
Sullivan?
Rowan Sullivan, and we are so pleased.
Reverend or?
Rowan.
Close.
Oh, Reverend Rowan Sullivan.
Yep, nice to meet you,
Nice
Jerry.
to meet you, yes.
It's a
How
pleasure
tall
to
are
be
you?
here. 6'1.5". I had a physical this morning.
Oh, really?
Yep.
I used to be almost that tall.
Wow.
Either they're lying to you or something happened to me. I guess
be
something
sure.
happened to me. So you're from town?
Yep, I lived here all 21 of my years.
Okay, and you are enslaved for a
At the
period
union.
to...
The summer. He's a summer
Oh.
intern with the First Selectman's office.
Yep.
One of the things the town is really proud and pleased to do is employ Simsbury residents. We do that at Parks
You
and
get
Rec,
paid?
Public Works.
I sure
First
did.
It's not an
Selectman's office.
internship, that's a job.
Well, it is a job, and we're happy. We believe we have an opportunity to share
Does he get
and get
minimum
experience.
wage?
Yeah, no, I don't even know what you earn.
A little bit above that, I answer phone calls, listen to the constituents, and take on projects of coworkers that get to me first in the morning.
We give him research assignments, although he just started today, so he doesn't have a research assignment yet. But yeah.
So then what do they give you a script when you're listening to citizens and you say,
Yep.
right,
Yep. Stick to the
Yes.
script, be polite, answer the calls, and transfer them to the
and be
appropriate.
non-committal, but make it, oh, this would be so discriminatory to say that. I can't say that.
Then don't.
I won't. No,
Okay,
I know.
good job.
Yeah, okay, but Lisa has been teaching me, educating me to the fact there is an anti-harassment policy in town. I don't know, just in her office or in this building, or puts me out of business totally. I can't open my mouth.
You can.
So, no, I can't. I mean, several things I've said today, somebody could say, they might think it's harassing you.
Oh, I'm fine. You and I get along well. We don't have to worry
I agree
about
with that, yeah. And then some of the things you say to me when you're not on the mic, I mean... Okay, so we're back to Rowan, R-O-W-A-N.
Yep.
That sounds like Game of Thrones name, Rowan
Yep.
Sullivan.
Actually,
I love
he's
it.
a junior at UConn.
Yep, University of Connecticut,
Okay.
heading into my senior year.
Really?
Yep.
Has
Okay.
a background in marketing, communications.
So get it out there. One more year and people could be, taking a year to line up and say, hey, wait, come next summer, this guy's available.
Yeah, I'll be on the market looking for any job offers. You can reach me.
No, we'll stop that right there. No, we're very pleased to have Rowan and a whole bunch of youth that we employ over the summer. We put out our
How
application.
did they get chosen?
Well, they apply and we take a look at the resume, and
And they're
it's
related to somebody?
no, Rowan is not related to me in any way.
I didn't say you.
Well, he's related to somebody, yes.
Yes, I know, but,
No relations in the office.
Right.
No. Police force?
No.
No.
Fire department?
No.
EMTs?
He's
No
from
one within the
Simsbury.
town.
The relationship is that he's from
Yep.
Simsbury, and we do employ a lot of Simsbury students.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you having fun yet? Well, you only been here one day.
It's day one, but yeah, it was good shaking hands with everybody.
Yeah.
And day one, I'm on TV. Sky's the limit here.
Yeah, so, who have you met that you don't like?
No, do not answer that. He likes everyone.
There. Everyone here is very nice, accepting, has helped me in all my questions, and I wouldn't mind going to anyone's door and asking more.
You will find out some of them aren't giving you quite the whole story when they answer your question. And as nice as this person is, and as nice as she likes to paint everybody, it's a bunch of human nature in this building, I'll tell you. After 27 years of interviewing the person in this position. I know. And because she moved the clock, I can't see the clock. I don't know how much time we have left.
2 minutes,
Okay,
Jared.
2 minutes. Well, then I want to give it all to Rowan.
Wonderful.
Rowan was also a soccer player, I think,
Yep.
right? At
He
the
was a-
Simsbury High School?
Yep.
A sergeant player?
Soccer.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, it
Were
was
you
on-
good?
I was decent for the time. I had an injury-riddled career, but beyond that, I think I did well.
Is it good to be tall as a soccer player? I'm surprised when there's tall soccer players.
It's good when you when you can see your teammate's head in the box for the corner kicks and other crosses for big headers. But I didn't. I was typically the one crossing it in.
Yeah, it seems like, people like with a lower center of gravity, like for wrestling, that seems to be better.
Right.
It would seem like soccer, you're a little more.
Except there's a lot of head balls in soccer, so it's helpful to be tall if you're playing the head game.
Oh, well, that's a point. Yeah, but
Exactly.
we
Right.
shouldn't do that. I mean, we got to get rid of football. We got to get rid of headball in soccer. I mean, that's harassment. Yeah, for sure.
You
That's
know-
crippling young people.
Well, you do have to take concussions seriously. There's no question.
Yes, that's true. Okay.
No, we've had concussions in our family, and I do take them seriously.
Yeah, well, okay. Rowan, you don't have to go away. I just want to thank you. It was
It
a
was
pleasure
nice
meeting
meeting you.
and I'll be totally confident when I call in. Sometimes I use different voices and different names,
Okay.
and I just try to pass along concerns, but
You'll probably recognize his voice.
Oh, I don't
hope
think so. Sometimes.
I'll take note of that one there.
Oh, yeah, but that's not going to happen. My Bugs Bunny one is really good, though. Lisa,
Gary.
thank you so much. Keep up the good work, and thanks for the toleration. And
Thank you,
thank
Jared.
all of you, and we'll see you again next month on State of the Town.
Funding for Simsbury Community Television is provided in part by contributions from viewers like you. Thank you.